Boy Warrior for Christ ATL, and I'm here to share a story with you guys about what happened to me during the Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day was Monday, and the wife and I, we had to go to the store, and well, anyway, so Memorial Day is, for those who don't know, is when we actually honor those individuals who have served and are no longer here. All right. So that's with that being said, I'm going to fast forward to Memorial Day this Monday. All right. So this past Monday, we had a issue, I would say, or a situation to where there was a gentleman who I would assume who confused Memorial Day with Veterans Day. I say that because he was the only person that I saw the entire day, minus the security guys, in uniform. Memorial Day is a national holiday, it's a federal holiday, so more often than not, we don't have to work, so therefore we don't have to wear a uniform. So the wife and I, we get to the store, and this guy, he's in his uniform, he's coming out of the store, and I have to admit, I was a little disturbed. And I was so disturbed. So normally I get my wife's door, and then if we take Atlanta with us wherever we're going, I get her, get the door for Atlanta so that we can take her out and do whatever. So I was so disturbed that I got the wife's door, but then I came back over to my side to get the mask, and without even getting Atlanta's door. I'm sure Atlanta was mad at me. But anyway, so the whole time I can't stop looking at this guy in uniform. And I can't stop looking at her. And I'm getting more and more annoyed with him because he walks out the store and he has nothing on his head, but he's in uniform. And whenever you go outside, you're always supposed to have your cover. All right, that's what it's called. Or your PC, patrol cap, but we call it cover because it's covering your head. All right, so he doesn't have a cover on, and his blouse, which is what these are called, his blouse was wide open. Nothing zip, button, nothing, just wide open. And he has these, I guess his ID cards, whatever they were, but they were just hanging. Not the ID tags, not the dog tags, not those, but it was like a actual card, and they were hanging, down his shirt. Anyway, so he's getting attacked by, of all things, a bee, and he's telling him get out of here, blah 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 blah. But bees are fairly small, so I understand why he thought that I thought he was crazy, because I'm looking at him crazy, and he's like, no, it's the bee. But I don't change my face, and I'm still looking at him, and he's like, no, get him, and he comes over to me, and I'm like, well, sir, my issue isn't the bee, that's way over there. My issue is how you're wearing your uniform. And he of course didn't like that. Well, what do you mean? And I'm like, the way you wear a uniform, you're wrong. And so he's like, well, it's 90 degrees in there. I'm talking about the store, not outside. At the store, it's 90 degrees out there. And so I'm like, okay, well, why does that matter? I'm like, so okay, what's your rank? And he grabs his blouse and he shows me his rank. He's like, Colonel. So I'm like, okay, so like that's supposed to mean something. But what do you mean? Because you're out of pocket, you're wrong. you know. And so I said, okay, well, where's your CAC? And for those of us who are in the military or are associated with the military in any way, shape, form, or fashion, they know what a CAC is. My wife has a CAC. She knows what a CAC is, and she's not in the service. But because she's affiliated with the military, she has a CAC. She knows what it is. So I was like, where's your CAC? And he goes to his cart, and he pulls out his cover. So, and he shows me his cover. See, it's right here. And then he plops it on his head. And I said, no. I said, your CAC. And he's like, making these weird faces like, huh? And so now I'm livid. So I whip out, I was like, this is what a CAC is. I whip it out. I said, yeah. I said, where's this? And and at that point I was gone. Apparently the wife told me to come on, like, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes into this conversation with this dude. But I was so disturbed that I didn't hear her say a word. And so he's like, yeah, I'm a colonel in an NSA. Now, mind you, for those of us who know what a military uniform looks like, this cat has on an Army uniform. And not this pattern either, the ACU one. He has on the ACU uniform,
which is the older uniform.
He has on some stinking Air Force boots and a freaking Marine shirt. Now, I was so disturbed by his blouse that I didn't even notice the shirt. For some strange reason, that's all she noticed was the shirt. Did you see his shirt? Did you see his shirt?
I've been watching that uniform since he's been in the military, so I know what's supposed to go with what. And that shirt did not belong with that uniform, and I was like just bothered. It was like he went to some supply store, like the hunting or army supply type store that everybody and anybody can go into, and it was like, you know what? This shirt matches these boots, so I'm gonna put it with this uniform. I'm like, what? Like, no, bruh, no.
So, man, I didn't hear her say nothing. So finally, and I was digging in his tail at this point. Now he was like, and I'm a colonel. I said, well, sir, if you really were a colonel, this conversation will be totally different. Trust me, this conversation will be totally different. Because even though any rank can correct any rank when you're wrong, because right outranks rank. Okay? So, with that said, anybody can correct anybody on the spot corrections. However, if that person outranks you, especially by a lot, you may want to use some tact. And the higher the rank or the bigger the gap, the more tact you may want to use. But so like I said, had he really been a colonel, that conversation would have been totally different. First off, and I've been in for a little bit, I have never seen a colonel jacked up, like, ever, in uniform. Never. Whenever they've been outside, they've always been squared away because they know, right? So I was so upset. And the people who were parked next to him actually whipped out their phone and started recording. They thought I didn't notice at first. But I was so upset I didn't even care. And I was like, okay, well, so if you were a colonel, this conversation would be totally different, And he was like, I work for the NSA. I'm active duty. I'm like, and I told the wife, I should have been like, no, sir, you are full of active duty.
And then he tried to say that someone knew that he was active duty military.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, just ask such and such. And he's over there. So I'm looking around like, okay, so I'm waiting on someone to come over and stick up for him or speak up for him or something. And I'm just looking, and no one, and I do mean no one, comes and says, hey, yes, because no one would. I mean, he was looking a hot mess. Anyone affiliated with the military knows that he was not in the military. It was a hot mess. And then there was this one guy, he was like, yeah, stolen valor, stolen valor. Everyone's looking. I mean, it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. I was so upset. I was so bothered. I was so disturbed, and I have to admit, I was surprised at myself. Yeah, I was surprised. So now seeing the videos with people who are getting busted out for stolen valor, and to see the passion that those guys have when they're jumping on their case, honestly, it's not practiced, it's not rehearsed. It literally just comes out of nowhere. I shocked myself. I didn't realize how loud I was or how emotional I was until this Walmart guy or whatever, he just came out of nowhere and he was like, what's wrong? What seems to be the matter, sir? And I was telling him, I was like, this guy over here, he's walking around stolen valor. I said, that's a federal offense. And he goes to shake my hand. I'm like, no, bump that. I said, that is a federal offense. That's stolen valor right there. Which, of course, you can go to jail for stolen valor. Now, you can, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just thinking about the man's uniform. He had patches. Lord, it just looked like he went to some store and was like, you know what? I'm going to put on this patch here and this patch and this patch and this patch. It was ridiculous. Red, white, blue. I mean, all different color patches. And I'm just like, really, dude? Like, come on. But I apologize.
No,
it was
fine.
just a hot mess.
So, I've never had that like really happen to me before. To actually witness stolen valor, it's tough. So, legally, even though I personally disagree, legally, anyone can wear a military uniform. I don't like it whatsoever. I think it's wrong, and I don't feel like anyone should do it. However, legally, people can do it. The issue is, and what makes it stolen valor. Now, it used to be you couldn't wear it, and just the appearance of it was stolen valor. But they changed this, that, and the other. But it becomes stolen valor when you actually wear the uniform and try to portray being a service member. That's when it becomes stolen valor. Or honestly, even if you aren't wearing a uniform, but you try to pass off as being a service member, it's stolen valor. All right, when you're trying to utilize it to get some type of gain or anything like that, stolen valor. All right, so I've come across a couple of people that I thought was maybe a little, on the fence when I was first in the military, but I didn't know what I know now. So the very first time we ever saw, I think I just come from basic training, AIT, whatever. And so there was this one cat, he was out there, and I was a little on the fence about him, and he was with his wife, I'm assuming, and their baby. So I didn't say anything, honestly, because I was on the fence. And if I was certain, I would have said something, more than likely. And if I didn't say anything, it would have been because he was with his baby. But then there was another time when there was a guy, turns out he actually was in the military, but he was ate up. But the thing is, when a person's in the military and you correct them, they instantly fix themselves because they know better. All right? This cat here, the whole time we were arguing, he never, ever buttons up his blouse. All right? He never does it. So he never asked me for my rank. Who am I? even though I showed him my CAC, but he didn't know what a CAC was, so he wouldn't know what to look for, you know.
And it's CAC.
Yes, not CAP, not cap, which is what he thought I said.
Yeah, in
clearly.
which they don't say cap.
Yeah, we don't call it a cap. You know, it's even though it's called a patrol cap, but we either say your cover, that's number one, or we'll say PC. Yeah, of course she knows. So anyone who's affiliated with the military, they know certain things, right? And just I'm gonna call the dude Colonel Butt White, you know, and he doesn't deserve the colonel. But the dude was wrong, and I was so disturbed to where I blew off the workout. I actually went back and apologized to the guy, you know, because my issue wasn't with him, which I let him know. My issue wasn't with you, sir. My issue is with the guy over here, Mr. Stolen Valor. And I told those people, I said, he's full of crap. The people who were recorded, I looked right at the file, I was like, he's full of crap. Because he was. And the fact that he kept trying to go with the lie, and he points into his car and shows me another uniform that has a colonel ranks on it. Dude, I can go and get some colonel rank. You can go and get some colonel rank. It doesn't mean anything, right? It's how you go about that.
Shoot, I have a general rank.
This is true.
And I can show it to you.
Yes. So, you know, you can get the rank. It doesn't mean anything. So it's we know who we are, right? And this guy here was off. It was my first real experience with Stolen Valor. I can't believe it happened to me. And
then he didn't even have the flag.
Yeah, see, like that's something that would have stood out too.
Like
because
on his right arm, the flag. He didn't even have that either. He just had all these random patches. Like what?
Even security guards have the flag. The mail carriers, they have the flag. Everybody has the flag, and it was awful. It was awful. I had to ask my wife, did I embarrass her? She said no, which I was glad. He tried to get under my skin.
Yes, and call him a boy.
Called me a boy. I'm like, boy, you the boy. You know, walk around here, Stolen Valley, dressed up in a costume. You know, like you going the Halloween, what, I don't know, trick or treating. That's it.
And then he started screaming, "Get him up off me!"
Yeah, that's right.
Get him up off me!
So,
as if my husband was attacking him.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. So this guy, he was like, and the reason I went at him so strong, so hard, was because I knew he was a liar. And then when I quote unquote attacked him, because before then I was just checking him, you know, because he was wrong, or you could even say probing. Let me hit this because I know this is in y'all eyes, but sorry for not doing this sooner. But so when he was like, "I'm done with you," and when he said, "I'm done with you," it was at that point that I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna let him know this is called Stolen Valor, clown, and that's what you're doing. It's a federal offense, which I let him know, and he's wrong. He's out of pocket. So he has his cart, and he's done with his car. He puts up his dog and whatever the heck he had, and he's like, "Here, take this," and like I'm some peasant, you know, or he really is a colonel. Not that I would have taken it even if he was, but like I'm, you know, again, some peasant. And so I'm like, you know, you stolen valor. You're wrong, sir. You are wrong, you know. And I go off. I'm like, you know, my grandfather wore this uniform. My family wore this uniform. I wear this uniform. And I even feel a little bit now about it. But he goes over because he was like, yeah, just ask so-and-so. He's a ranger. Ask him. He'll tell you. If you're a colonel dude, you can check me, because that's how the rank structure works. First, you would have to prove that you was a colonel, but then you can actually, you would shut the situation down. On top of the fact that it wouldn't happen in the first place.
And the ranger, again, I'm looking around for Brother Man to come around, who never did.
Yeah, the guy. So when I'm talking to the worker who comes up to me and says something, and I turn and I point, I'm like, no, he's full of crap. He's stolen valor, and the guy's over there talking about, get him off me, get him off me, get him off me. And whoever he was talking to was not, he didn't want no parts of it. He didn't want no parts either, because one, he was a fraud himself, right? Or two, he realized that this colonel was full of malarkey. All right. Either way, that dude said jack squat about this guy. The man didn't say nothing to him when he was talking about get him off me, and he didn't literally mean, because I wasn't on him, obviously. But the guy, it was a hot mess. The wife, I did not hear her. I promise you, I did not hear her say a word until she was like, what do you mean? He's active duty. He's in the service. So, and that's when I heard her for the first time. And honestly, that was the last time I heard her too.
Yeah, I was upset.
Yeah.
No.
It was bad. Like, and then, like I said, I was so passionate. And I can get loud. Like, I know I can get loud, but I didn't realize that I was that loud. So this one cat, he's walking by, and he was like, yeah, that's right, stolen valor, stolen valor. And a couple of people, when we got in the store, they thanked me, and which was cool. That's not what I was doing it for. I was getting on the dude because the dude was wrong. If you're gonna wear the uniform, you wear it right. And if you're not a service member, you don't tell people you're a service member. If you want to show your support by wearing the uniform.
And what I appreciate too about the whole thing is, we as a race or humanity, we usually always come together when it comes to, I would say, the military, whether you're black, white, because at that point it wasn't a color issue, even though we were black and he was white, but the people at the store were majority white, but we're rooting for right, because he was wrong. In which I really appreciate it, especially nowadays and what's going on. So it was nice to see, like, hey.
Yeah. So, gas shot back up. Sorry, squirrel. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Man, I'm almost at work now, but I had to share that. Stolen valor is a real thing. And unfortunately, it was, I had to witness it, but I knew enough to correct the situation. I was passionate. He was irate. Yeah, I wasn't irate. He was. I was just passionate, and I tried to, anybody who like knows me for real or has dealt with me over the past few years know that I do my best to try to enforce the rules. I try to enforce what's right. I try to do what's right myself and encourage people to do the same. So stolen valor, guys. Stolen valor is a real thing, and that's all I got for you. So, going to work. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week. This video will be up, I don't know, in the next day or two. Got a video coming out for you guys for the 30-minute warrior challenge. All right, so check that out. Join in. Until next time, warrior salute. Peace.